What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're back for SRL. This is the Italian Grand Prix, and unfortunately this is also my last race for about 3 weeks in this league. The gap in the championship is 4 points, so we were really taking it to New Zealand Ryan in this one, but when you miss 3 weeks in a league racing season, there's just no way you can come back from that. So this will be our last race before we return for the actual last race of the season in Brazil. But we're going to see if we can make our mark in this one. See if we can still maintain P2 in the standings. I don't know what the gap to Warden is. It might be pretty substantial. He has had a bit of a rocky season in both AOR and SRL. So let's see what we can do. Monza, it was a really good track for us in, I think, AOR. We got pole position. Got screwed over in the race because there was rain. And we weren't ever really able to show our true potential. Today, hopefully, let's do that. So here we are for qualifying, 1 minute 20.7. I mean, it's an okay banker time, but it's nothing special. We've got Exodona on our lap here. Just kind of giving us a little bit of dirty air through the final corner, but we make it up with a bit of slipstream as we cross the line. It is a 1 minute 20.4. So not a bad way to start the session. We want to be in the really low 20s to high 19s to be competitive today. I think my pole time in AOR was like a 19.8. Or 19.7, something like that. So we need to pull something like that out of the bag in order to get pole position again, which I think we can do. So we'll have to wait and see how we go, as I need to turn my phone on silent. Anyway, through the first lap, you can see we got we ran wide onto the gravel trap there, completely killed our momentum through the middle sector. The rest of the lap, to be honest, it wasn't that flash, and you can see we're only marginally just going to improve on our qualifying time, and we beat it by a 100th of a second, and gives us P4 in the session. So without that mistake, could have maybe improved by a 10th or 2, and that might have been the difference of getting us on the front row of the grid. So Dominator gets pole, DRC Jared second, Neon Trudome third. Really good job from Neon. I don't think he's qualified that highly in either league so far this season, so great job from him. But for the race, once again we have rain. Once again, we have rain, but it's on dry tyres that we're starting the race on. And this could be one of those sessions where it rains for the entirety of the race, but the preferred tyre is the dry tyre. That's the kind of race I think we're going to get today, which is interesting. We've had this before and even seen it in esports qualifying before. So we know how to deal with this situation. It's just down to us to get the most out of it. The hard compound tyres here in these conditions are going to be the optimal tyre to be on. But we won't be able to switch onto those until the second stint of this race. 5 red lights, and away we go. The SRL Italian Grand Prix. Neon Trudome getting lots of wheel spin off the start there. Warden behind me got a great start and overtakes me before we even head into the braking zone of turn 1. So here we go, nice and conservative under brakes. Jared looks up and kind of swipes across at Dominator. Dominator cuts the chicane, and we get the best run out of anyone, and we go from like P4 to P1 in this Italian Grand Prix through the first sequence of corners. Ryan, meanwhile, has had a shocker down in P10, Warden P3, and this has just been an absolute dream start for us so far in this Italian Grand Prix. A little bit deeper there into the chicane there. That shouldn't be any issues for us. A lot of people misjudging how much grip is in these conditions. Like I said, this is the first running we're doing in wet conditions, and we're on the dry tyre no less, so conditions are far from optimal. Ryan is slowly starting to pick his way through the field as a lot of people are making mistakes. Very easy to do at this point in the Grand Prix, because like I said, we're all pioneers here, trying to push as much as we can. Here comes Jared. We're going to have to go defensive into Ascari here. We go late under brakes. We've locked up. No, we're not even going to make the corner. We're in the gravel trap. That is the lead of the Grand Prix. Down the toilet. Unbelievable scenes. And now Ryan is trying to capitalize on all this. Exodona is spun out into the barriers. Like I said, these conditions are absolutely atrocious at the early phases of this Grand Prix. No grip, heavy fuel, understeer central, and grip is not quite there on the exit of corners either. Look at that, losing the back end through Parabolica. And now Ryan might potentially get the run here on us. We'll have to wait and see. He's going to be in the slipstream. In these conditions, DRS will actually be enabled, believe it or not. It's just below that threshold of needing intermediate tyres, which is the most awkward thing. Penske's going for a move up the inside of Ryan. thinks better of it and stays behind in 8th place. Actually, Jetson gets him there. The PA. Jetson is on the soft compound tyres. So, like I said, whoever's on harder compounded tyres for this first stint of the Grand Prix, they're going to be in great stead for the rest of the race because the harder compound have more of a wider working range, and that's why they work better and have more grip in conditions like this. So all of us on the softer compound are just struggling that little bit because these tyres have a smaller window versus the other ones, if that makes sense. So that's why harder compounds are more preferred in low grip or low temperature conditions. But here we are, we're going for a run here on Dominator. We have a look up the inside into turn 1. Yeah, half a move there. Didn't want to go in too deep. We get a nice exit. We're going to go around the outside. Lost the back end there in like 3rd gear, and that's kind of completely killed all of our momentum there, and we have to settle in once again for P5. We might have a little look up the inside again into the 2nd chicane. Dominator, yeah, he goes in too deep, locks the rear brakes, and it looks like he is possibly going to lose this position here. We get a nice run into Lesmo 1. Let's see if we can get the move done. He leaves the space and actually runs wide through all of that, and that is us into the top 4. Holy crap, what a frantic start to this Grand Prix. Barely had a chance to take a breath, but now we can do so. Here's a replay of Ryan's start. So he was starting right behind me in P5. Neon got an absolute shocker and had to completely lift off the throttle there and gave up so many positions in doing so, and that was pretty much made his start to the Grand Prix very, very difficult. And then we made the mistake into Ascari. Honestly, I don't even think I broke too late. Maybe I was just putting too much brake pressure into the corner, locked up. I was turning for the corner, but the car just went straight on, and I couldn't believe it. We threw away the lead of the Grand Prix. Just kicking myself. I'm still kicking myself to this very moment, and this is like many, many days after the race has concluded. But we're carrying on now. Ryan has made a stop, an early stop for medium tyres. I thought about doing that pretty much at the same point as Ryan, but I thought, no, it's probably not. Maybe it's not the right. Maybe it's not the right decision to make, given how early it is in the race, and maybe if the rain falls a little bit heavier and we go straight to intermediate tyres, there can be a big gain to be made out of all that. But I stayed out. I was getting slower. I think rain overtook me on the soft compound tyres. So everyone who's on harder compound is just absolutely flying at this point. And I finally had enough at the end of lap 7. We're going on to medium tyres, and we're going to take these all the way to the end of the race if the conditions stay as they are, which I believe they will now at this point. I don't see why. I really don't see the rain getting any heavier or any lighter for that matter. Just when we have races like this, the conditions never change. And I don't know why. It's almost like a glitch, because how can the conditions stay exactly like this, right on the precipice of intermediate tyres, but it never gets any heavier or any lighter? It's really, really weird. But we cut on to lap 13 now. We're pushing through the field. We're on our medium tyres. We have really good pace again. We overtake Mitchie, who started on his mediums. He hasn't stopped yet. So that's us back up into P6. Jetson right in front of me. He started on the softs. He overtook me towards the end of my first stint, and he stayed out an extra few laps, and now he's finally switched to the medium. So he's going to have like 5 lap fresher medium tyres to the end of this race, so he's got a pretty big advantage over us in this Grand Prix. Meanwhile, we're cutting to Ryan. This is an overtake for P2 in this Grand Prix. He gets up the inside of Jared, who has gone for the soft compound tyre, and so has Warden as well. So that's a very interesting choice for those two guys, opting for the middle compound, which may not work as well in these conditions as maybe the mediums, but they'll have more natural grip and more natural pace. So I'm interested to see how that balance works out. But at this stage, I think Ryan is actually the fastest car on circuit, and he's on the mediums. Some of the oldest mediums in the field. We've got 2 lap fresher mediums than what Ryan has. But we get a corner cutting penalty there. We're trying to chase after Jetson F1, where, I just lost all my time in the pit stop window when I kind of spun out after Jetson overtook me, and for the rest of the Grand Prix, I was matching the leaders. So I was pushing like absolute crazy. Jetson was really, really fast on fresher medium tyres, but I just couldn't make any inroads. Jetson was actually more consistent, but when I got a lap in, I tended to be faster. So that was my race, pushing on so crazy, and I just couldn't make any progress after switching onto the medium tyres. It was all won and lost in that first stint of the Grand Prix, and that was the race. So, pretty frustrating in the end, considering on the first lap we were leading this race, and then, I don't know, we were just compromised heading into Ascari. I didn't even brake that late, in all honesty. The brakes just snagged, and we were in the gravel trap. And that was the race. We probably reacted a little bit too late in pitting on for the medium tyres, and that definitely cost me as well. But after that point, once we were on the mediums, we were fine. We were Gucci. Like, we had really good pace. 128.3. You compare that to pretty much most people apart from Ryan, who was mega fast today. We were one of the quicker cars out there, surprisingly. But that's the race. For Warden, congrats to him. He kept his nose out of trouble. Got the win in the end. I think, what was it? New Zealand Ryan got second. Jared in P3, Rain fourth. Me P5. 10 points. It's actually my worst result of the season, as you can see on the championship standings right here. So we've had a very consistent run, and P5 is not a bad result, and considering that's the worst one we've had all season, it's just a testament to how consistent we have been in this league in particular, which is really good. But that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more F1 2017 videos. This is going to be it for a while for league racing. I'll be back in about 2 or 3 weeks for the finale of SRL, and then I'll be back for the final 2 races, I believe, of AOR. So let's have some fun in those leagues before we round out F1 2017. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, I'll see you next time.